everybody, what's up? It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha Wright, the author of Curly Hair Adventures and What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We are going to have part 2 of my 4-part series on myths and how they influence and maybe hurt both you, the consumer, and myself, a licensed cosmetologist. So we're gonna just, really have just a wonderful discussion. The series are in 4 parts. The first one was about race, so you can watch that on the other video. Today we're gonna be talking about culture. The next video is going to be about the salon experience. And then the 4th video is going to be about self-expression. So the overarching theme is how myths definitely influence and impact those 4 topics, okay? Now, if you like my channel, you like the information that I've been giving to you, of course, you know what I want you guys to do. I want you guys to hit that thumbs up. If you don't like it, hit the thumbs down, and then that'll let me know that you like it. Also, can you subscribe and share the channel? That will most definitely be appreciated. And if there's a topic that you want me to talk about, just simply write it in the comment section and I will answer the questions. Now, why am I talking about myths and going over all these little topics? Is because I do have a home hair care membership platform that's available for you at patreon.com/global hair care, where you don't have to scour the internet and go all over YouTube to get those pertinent questions about home hair care answered. And those tiers, the membership has 5 different tiers that can accommodate any level of home hair care from beginning all the way to the professional, okay? So that is my claim, that's my claim to fame. And now we are going to get down to the topic of myths and how they influence or impact culture of hair care. Now, again, here's another little precursor before I get started. I want to make abundantly clear that this topic is relating to my own personal experience, my own culture. So by no stretch of the imagination are these comments going to cover, or do they include the entire African American community or Clevelanders, nor do they reflect or cover the entire continent of Africa. So the information is related to my little personal petri dish, okay? How's that? All right. So let's get straight down to business. What is it about myths? So what are myths? What myths are you talking about? The myths that I'm talking about are in no order of importance. So these are some of the common myths that I hear standing behind. In case you don't believe me, I'm in a real salon, okay? So these are some of the myths that I hear standing behind the chair. Number 1, black people hair don't grow like white people. Number 2, black people don't get long hair. Our hair can't grow very long. It takes a long time. Number 3, we can't be washing our hair like white people. If you wash black hair too much, it's just gonna come out. Number 3, here's another. Number 4, number 5, comb. Now, you just can't keep combing your hair. If you comb your hair, you're gonna break your hair off. Don't comb your hair too much, Another one, this one will be an example. So Saturday, I was working in the hair salon, doing little 1s and 2s. And so the customer says, I think I want color like that stylist down there. My colleague says, come on down. I go down, and she says, I like your hair. I like your hair color. I said, oh yeah. So Spritz says, yeah, I was telling her we could do that. And so she says, I know you can, but I want to know, I want it to look like yours, but in order for me to get that look, I want to know what number weft is that in your hair? And I said, oh no, this isn't a hair weave. This is actually my real hair. And then her next response was, oh, you must be mixed with Indian. You see? Myth. There's a myth that black hair can't be beautiful, okay? There's a myth that there is even a such thing as black hair. Now, I know the questions are next gonna come up is, well, Ladosha, where are we getting these myths from, okay? So these myths are primarily coming from. Now, the myths are the myths in America and those myths that I just talked about. Those myths, they have their roots, their history, their beginnings in slavery. Now, this is a lot of times difficult for people to even grasp because they're saying, well, my grandmother taught me to grease my scalp. I beg your pardon. My grandmother told me, don't you let nobody cut your hair. I beg your pardon. My grandmother taught me, my aunt said no more than 2 people in your head. I beg your pardon. So you see, some of this has now turned into some wives' tale superstitions, but also some ardent beliefs. People are believing that this stuff that we've been taught are actually real. Those are myths. There is no historical evidence in my research across the western part of Africa and into some parts of the interior of Africa and high up as Egypt, could I find any research that upon the discovery, the creation rather, of soap, that people in different parts of Africa did not wash their hair only wash their hair every 2 weeks. None of this stuff. The hair didn't grow long. I could not find that, okay? What I could find, which is what I promote in my book, that across Africa in different countries, that there were different techniques and tools and products. And so that is what I teach, that hair care is about the right products, the right tools, and the right techniques to achieve whatever hairstyle your hair can have, be it natural or artificial. Okay? So we have that abundantly clear. Those myths are not true. The whole term, the terminology of black hair. Black hair, that assignment was given to us by the creators who created race. So I talked about that in my first video, that the actual term race, the belief or whatever, is pseudo. The belief is real because now it is a social construct. But in all actuality, race was made up, and the classification, the words, the physical attributes that they assigned to the classes or races of people, it did not have any scientific evidence or proof. So, for example, in the creation of race, they said that white people had this silky, soft, flowy hair. Mongoloids had this dark, straight hair, and Negroids had this woolen, nappy, kinky hair. Now, that's not true because, number one, all dark people are not from Africa. They're not Negroes, okay? That's one. Number two, all dark people don't have woolen, nappy, kinky hair. So that is not true. Now, are there phenotypes or certain, physical attributes that people living in certain climates or certain regions on the continent of Africa or throughout, the world, do they have certain features that are similar? Yes. But are they enough to say that all the people, in certain instances that could be so, but in the case of African Americans, the answer will be no, because that's a genetic assignment. So the belief that our hair was ugly and we must be mixed with something, that is coming out of the hair shaming that had its birthplace in slavery, that's now in the language of our ancestors who were robbed of their language to be able to convey to us how beautiful our hair is. Now, when I visited the Gambia, I could not find in their language or their lexicon or their vernacular or whatever words you want to use, I couldn't find where they felt that there was a such thing as one person's hair was ugly and another person's hair was pretty, though the word different was used. So when I was there, of course, they were like, your hair is different from ours. But they were not of the notion that my hair was better or prettier. It was just different. And so other people there had hair textures that were similar. Now this color, well, that's a whole nother video. However, the textures they had seen before, but a combination of straight, the color, and the texture, that was different. And they did not see that as better. So again, it would be the myths associated with the classification of people were white, that category was supreme. So that's where your white supremacy is coming from, because that was the supreme race and that ideology of what beauty was, and in some instances still is. That became the standard, you know, the barometer, the metric of what beautiful hair was and unfortunately is. So I want you guys to understand that when it comes to myths as it relates to growing hair, combing hair, how beautiful hair is or is not, that unfortunately for most of us in African America, particularly as African Americans, particularly in my culture, is stemming from slavery. So how do we erase that? How do we get rid of it? We do things like what I'm doing right now. As a licensed cosmetologist, we all have a dream. You know, I have a dream. I have a dream. So I too have a dream for the beauty industry. And that dream would be one day there would be no ethnic aisle, because ethnic aisle continues to buy into the notion, the theory that there is a group of people whose hair is better, simply because they won't put their products down our aisle, our meaning us people, okay? And that's confusing, because some people who visit the United States, they could have texture like mine. They may speak very little English. Their color could be like mine, but where they come from, they don't have that ethnic aisle. They just have hair care. So they could very well be shopping down the other aisle and nothing is working. And then one day someone could say, you need to shop down the black hair care aisle. Now they're confused. They're like, but I'm not black. That's one. The other flip side to that could, I'm not saying is, but could be that they don't want to be associated with what? Black hair. You see? Why? Oh, because maybe they don't live it, but surely, perhaps, or just maybe, they've been taught that black hair is what? Nappy, kinky, woolen, difficult to manage. And they don't want to be associated with that, so they won't go down that aisle. So I hope you guys are understanding how myths, they hurt, they harm, and they confuse. It is our job as licensed cosmetologists, historians, dermatologists, you know, archaeologists, to begin to change the language and give people user-friendly and proper information with the correct terminology to begin to get rid of the language and address the now paradigm shift that's taking place as a result of the unfortunate murder of George Floyd, where people are now wanting to know, where is all this madness in killing black men? Where is it coming from? Where is all this hatred towards African Americans? Where is this coming from? Though we know the answer remains slavery. The only way that we can begin to obliterate that is to replace it with right information. So while we may argue the toppling down of statues and getting rid of them is not going to amount to a hill of beans and change on an intimate level in your community, meaning your home or actually where you live, I kind of beg to differ, because as a cosmetologist, it would be great to hear one day, no more, you must be mixed with something. The mixed with something came from Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus was no good to Africans at all. And so it was the shaming. It was his people, you know, the Spaniards, you know, and the other Europeans who commissioned Carlos Van Linnaeus, Johann Blumenbach, and other, you know, so-called archaeologists and scientists or botanists or taxonomists to do what? Classify humans. They were the ones who put those Europeans, Christopher Columbus, those Caucasians. Now they have a new assignment. And in that new assignment, you got good things like what? Good hair. you see? So we can change that. So I invite you to learn more about this change on Friday, August the 14th at 7 p.m. by visiting the IndianaHistoricalSociety.com and get you a ticket. It's only $10, and you're going to hear a wonderful discussion about the style, flair, and care of black hair. It's going to be moderated by the most beautiful historian, in my opinion, of the world and the entire universe. Her name is Susan Hall Dotson, and she is, again, she's at the Indiana Historical Society, who, by the way, hosts the largest collection of Madam C.J. Walker's, goods, okay? And the discussion is going to be myself, along with Dr. Tamika Ellington. And Dr. Tamika Ellington is also doing something wonderful, like the historian Susan Hall Dotson. Dr. Tamika Ellington is going to be curating or co-curating a museum in October. It's going to open up at Kent State University. The name of the exhibit is called Textures: The History and Art of Black Hair. The actual curator is Dr. Joseph Underwood. The director is Sarah Rogers. And I'm going to have a little bit of piece of that action. So I want you guys to understand that myths, they now have their place in our language if you're in my community. Now again, this don't always apply to every person who's African American, so I'm going to put that disclaimer in there. But if you can relate to some of what I'm saying, I invite you guys to join us on August the 14th for a healthy discussion where you can get pertinent and real good information to begin to change the language in your home with your family and your children. Also, it's a wonderful book right here that I've been promoting. It's called Spears of the Masi, and it was written by the Coffee Pie Side Research Team. It's a wonderful book that's a compilation of Africans' contribution to all different, how do I want to say it? Just different things, throughout different societies. And I think you're going to find it extremely helpful and very interesting. It's available on Amazon. If you are a citizen of the Gambia and you are watching us, then understand, or you should know, that that book is going to be featured and used in an essay writing contest for the students attending the Gay and Joro Skills Academy in the Banjul, Gambia. So we're doing great things here on this platform of What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon. Thank you so much for watching. Just rewind it and play some of it again. Maybe it's giving you something to think about, like, or maybe you want to do some more research and learn it, for yourself. You can also buy my book, What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon. It is available on Amazon. You can also go to my website, lwritesbook.com, and get your own copy, or you can just simply download this What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon and Curly Hair Adventures. Okay, so that's 3 wonderful books that I'm promoting. And if you're just really like, I don't think you're Indian, I think your hair is beautiful, I don't care what color you are, but you just really want to know how is it looking extra healthy, that would be because of this wonderful tea it's called Bundles, and I purchased it from Fresh from Earth out of College Park, Atlanta. And all of this information is going to be available in the bottom of this video. So again, thank you very much. My name is LaDosha Wright. This is another episode of What They Don't Tell You at the Hair Salon, and this is number 2 of the 4-part series about myths. Again, in the exact order, number 1 is about race, number 2 is about culture, number 3 will be about salon experience, and number 4 will be about self-expression. How are myths affecting these? If you need help with home hair care, I encourage you to visit my patreon.com Global Hair Care to get more information. Thank you so much. And you know what I say when I'm always signing out, right? A whole lot of peace, a whole lot of love, and a whole lot of hair. If you don't have any hair, ain't interested in no hair, you really can't grow no hair. If you have a disorder, you just can't grow any hair. It ain't your plaything, it ain't your thing. Don't worry, you know why? just rep your beautiful bald head, okay? Thank you guys. I love you. Thanks so much for your support. Bye-bye.